So he was part of this vegan murder death cult.
What planning a wedding taught me about B2B sales.
And his tagline is seduce and destroy.
Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to Out of Print, a cultural commentary podcast with a literary twist in which each of us brings in a text and a topic to sink our teeth into. I'm Alice.
Sorry.
Hello.
We call that radio silence.
I'm Emmeline.
And I'm Sophie.
Today, Sophie has brought in the topic and the text for us to analyse. But before we get into that, how is everyone doing?
Good.
Pretty good.
Good. Yeah. I have not to jump the gun. I have an incredibly relevant story to tell you in particular, Alice, because Emily knows this.
Well, I think we should start with that.
I don't even know what you're going to say, so I'm excited to find out.
It will become familiar to you
Okay.
as it goes on. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because it came up in conversation that you didn't know this, Alice, and we've kept it for the pod because it's relevant to this week's theme, which is kind of talking about American Psycho and Patrick Bateman. So, for context, Alice and Emmeline left university a year before I did because someone wasn't very good at French and had to stay behind for an extra year.
Oh no!
Just
wants to live.
Mon Dieu. So I lived with different people in my final year of university, and because of how Oxford works, I was still living in halls, and I lived with someone who's a bit of a sort of peculiar character called Maximilian Snyder. Do you know where this is going?
Is his real name?
I
Yep.
really do know where this is going.
Real name.
I really do.
And
This actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Buckle up.
Brace
Alice.
yourself.
Okay.
Very quiet, would run out the kitchen when someone else was in there cooking, even if he was halfway through like boiling pasta or whatever. And I once walked past his room and his room door was open and there was nothing on the shelves, no sheets on the bed, and he was just like sat on his wheelie chair in the middle of the room with the lights off. And I was like, oh, he's a bit of like, you know, a peculiar fish, but I didn't really think like too much about that. So I shared a kitchen and a bathroom with this guy for a year. And then about, I want to say like 6 months ago, at some point within the last year, my current flatmate, who I also lived with in that final year of university, she calls me downstairs. She's like, Soph, she's like, will you just come down and look at something for a minute? I was like, yeah, sure, yeah, no worries. And it's a BBC News article, and he'd been arrested for driving a sword through his landlord's chest.
A sword?
Yep.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
Do we know why? Like, did the landlord... Because, I mean, I have a lot of issues with landlords, so, like, was there a reason?
Well, so he was part of this vegan murder death cult. It was the only reason why they caught him is because his girlfriend had shot a TSA agent 3 days before in the
read
States.
about that as well.
Yeah, and
Oh my God.
then criminologists or whoever deals with that sort of stuff then linked it to loads of different murders around the USA, and it's like a whole thing, and they're all computer science students who went to like top universities who are trying to like sever the human consciousness through like maths and other like STEM subjects and stuff. Fucking crazy. And I shared a kitchen and a bathroom with him for a year.
And he ran away from you.
Yeah, scurried off like a little mouse.
Just so scary.
I find the sword thing is like...
It's also like, where
did
do
you
you
get
even get
that?
that? Yeah. I've been looking for a sword for fucking
At
ages.
the medieval... Wait. Explain.
Right. For photography purposes.
Okay, yeah.
And like for like a really sick like Halloween costume.
Like a Joan of Arc.
But not like a...
situation.
Exactly.
Actual, like...
Not like you can't be whipping out a real sword to the Halloween party.
No.
No, I don't think our friends can be trusted with a real sword.
No
to be
one.
fair.
No one can.
But isn't that fucking crazy?
That's crazy.
And I can't believe that you didn't know this.
Well, it's because I heard, you know, through the grapevine, but I guess it's because we weren't at uni with him.
Well, also as well, like you think, oh my God, like there's so much history, there's so many intelligent people here, like I could be sharing a room with the next Prime Minister or the next Steven Spielberg, and it's like, actually, you're sharing it with someone who's going to be locked up in California county jail for the next sort of 10 years. Guys, the photo is fucking crazy. It's in like one of those belts where his hands are like chained to the waist and like the full orange jumpsuit.
Jesus
It's mental.
Christ.
Because the other weird thing about our uni year group, which is like a weird thing that we share in common, is that we went to school with Malala.
Yeah.
At the same, so there were bodyguards present. In fact, I'm sure everyone's got a story about this, but you came home from a night out.
Well, I almost got shot by them.
What do you mean?
Because we thought it would be funny. He thought it would be funny. Friend of the pod, guy I was sleeping with at the time.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod's fucking. He's gonna absolutely piss himself when he hears that.
former shagger of the pod.
No,
us.
of you.
Okay, of me. But it was in first year, and we broke into the university parks, and he thought it'd be funny to piss on the pavilion, the cricket grounds, I don't know. And that obviously set off an alarm, which alerted Oxford security services. We run across university parks, jumping over all these fences to get out of the park. And then we reached the outside of our college. We went to Lady Margaret Hall, which is got big gates in front of it. And he starts pretending to climb the gates as if he's breaking in to Lady Margaret Hall, where Malala is in fact residing with her bodyguards. And obviously it's Malala, so they're on high alert for, I guess, terrorists.
The Taliban.
The Taliban specifically. And we got in a lot of trouble. The Oxford Security Services pulled us over, and they had torches. They were like, "Oi!" And they were like, "Show us your university ID." And
fucking hell.
We showed it, and they looked at Benga, my friend, and they were like, "You don't even go." They don't even. They were like, "You don't even go here.
You don't even go. He doesn't even go here."
Yeah, Mean Girls.
So they were like, "Why is he here?" And I was stood wearing a pink t-shirt that said sex on it. And I was like, well, obviously we're shagging, aren't we? And then we had to go into the Porter's Lodge, which is the sort of, I don't know how you describe it, a sort of reception for the college. And I had to sign him in. And the security services told on us. They told the deans of our respective colleges. And we didn't even have sex that night because we were so worried we were going to get kicked out for causing a provocation.
It's a cockblock for sure.
Yeah, Malala.
Thanks a bunch, Malala.
Thanks,
It
Malala.
was I don't really. My only notable interaction with her in particular was one night I'd forgotten, I don't know, to get something from the bathroom. So I was running in my pants, down the corridor, running to probably just the bathroom to
tits.
No.
Free
T-shirt on. T-shirt
right,
on.
okay,
T-shirt on and
okay,
pants.
okay,
That's,
okay.
That would have been
that's a different image.
That's a different image.
Sort of Winnie the Pooh.
It was,
yeah.
It was exactly. I was Winnie the Pooh in need of a toothbrush, and I ran, and lo and behold, in the middle of the corridor was Malala, and I think she was coming back from band
practice.
No, that's an ad. That
really...
is, guys. That is a lie. That's cap straight from my mouth. That is not real. I ran into.
I don't remember her playing any
clarinet. Yeah.
She had an oboe in one arm, a guitar in the other. No, I just and it was awkward. Not for anything that she did, but that it was just
ideal.
wow, I had so much respect for this amazing woman, and I'm there in my pants.
I have a fucking bone to pick with Malala. First of all, that her security guards in their big blacked out SUV almost ran me over on my bike every single day. Second of all, never accepted my Facebook friend request. Have you seen
the article? The bong changed my life.
I'm excited to read that.
Hallowed halls of university. Many locations
haunted. All of them haunted.
And I feel like it is. Oxford is, as much as we don't want to talk too much about it on the, because we don't want to seem like wankers, but it's a topical location.
You look slightly to the camera.
Yeah. But it is a topical location because obviously it does produce a lot of Pat Bateman types.
It does.
So I feel like it is a good
which
segue.
Leads, perfectly onto your topics.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, little bit of context on why I've chosen to have a little look at American Psycho. So I work in the world of startups, and specifically I work in like content and social media and in marketing. And I also did a bit of a stint in VC and venture capital, as well, you ladies know. And what that means is I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, because this is where founders are connecting with VCs and they're getting funding, and there's lots of angel investors on there who are basically people with shitloads of money who fund startups. And it's where founders kind of trade off on their personal brands. And it's become this real sort of hive of like yuppie culture. And it's obviously my job to like go through and read kind of what's trending and shape the content that I'm producing for my clients as a freelancer. LinkedIn used to just be like, I have a new job, like, please like my status. It was kind of like a Facebook, but very professional. But now it's become this very like egocentric, quite weird place where people are writing in a very particular style that feels super inhuman, very cold, very calculated, slightly like red-pilled Andrew Tate territory. The type of words used and the type of structure used is very similar. And it kind of piqued my attention because it really reminds me of the morning monologue in American Psycho, the Bret Easton Ellis novel. It's all about hyperconsumerism and it satirizes yuppie culture and stuff. And I kind of just wanted to talk to you guys about what does it mean that we're kind of like returning to this state that things were like in the late 80s when the novel was written, and that people are starting to talk in that way again. So yeah, that's kind of the topic, and I'll walk you through some pretty punishing LinkedIn posts that I've come across.
Yeah, it's the kind of like what planning a wedding taught me about B2B sales.
It's also worth like noting that we come at this probably from three quite different angles, which is useful in terms of perspective. I'm a LinkedIn virgin. I do
Lucky.
not. I actually once created a burner LinkedIn account.
What?
And I used the name Justine Norman.
What?
No one go look that up. Because for like a day, I was like, what if I'm missing out on something?
What?
Yeah, you're not.
What could you possibly miss out on?
Well, I got scared and I've never logged in since. So there's just this like so I get a lot of there's emails that are like, so and so has been viewing your account. I'm like, who?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Do you have a profile picture on it?
It might be of like an apple or a dog.
Okay. Some like Facebook mum from Virginia.
Yeah. So
Catfishing people.
What the fuck?
She's not an apple in real life. What the fuck? Jokes.
So I have a kind of different relationship with self-branding, which comes from I work in music, so that's really overwhelmingly apparent in that world. And when you guys have much more corporate experience than me, you both worked in startups, and obviously I have lived with you both, and I'm best pals with you both, so hear a lot about it through that angle. So I feel like, we have lots of different kind of weird, and you work in like VC, which is something that
you're
we
probably
don't have any.
You're at the furthest
idea
end of the
of.
spectrum, and I'm like a LinkedIn. I'm there. I'm aware of it. I'm in the startup space. I've worked with founders, but I'm not like you're like balls deep.
I would also just like to stipulate, by the way, the founders that I've worked with have been incredible, not cringy, actually quite authentic posters, and very self-aware. The VCs that I have relationships with, same goes for them. Use LinkedIn in a very normal way. Very nice, good people. You can have a stalk of my LinkedIn and check them out. But obviously, the way that LinkedIn works is it's like Facebook. It's like a kind of ever-expanding net. And I have come up against some people who post some fucking weird shit. And I wanted to take you through... Jesus, I'm fucking spitting everywhere. Let me just say that again. I want to take you through. And what I wanted to take you through was the Patrick Bateman monologue that, bits and pieces of it, because for legal reasons we can't read out the whole thing. I'll just do the first line. My name is Patrick Bateman. I'm 27 years old. I believe in taking care of myself and a balanced diet and a rigorous exercise routine. And then he goes through the rest of his morning routine, which mentions stuff like doing stomach crunches and the fact that he can do 1,000 now, that he uses a water-activated gel cleanser that uses an aftershave lotion with little or no alcohol. And it basically finishes off with, there's an idea of Patrick Bateman, some kind of abstraction, but there is no real me. And I think that's kind of what's happening on LinkedIn with the way that people are posting, which is so inauthentic. And I want to take you through, Brewdog?
Yeah.
So pretty infamous, shall we say, founder. This is his morning routine.
Oh my God.
He opens it. Here's what it looks like for me. Don't judge. Hyperbaric chamber, because breathing normal air clearly isn't enough. Blood work, like an MOT for my hormones and my sanity. AI bike, 0 time, max data, very sweaty. Neurofeedback helmet, basically mind control, but make it biohacky. Infrared sauna, sweating through my emails. Weight training, because muscles don't build themselves. Taking 17 different supplements, my kitchen counter looks like a pharmacy. Tracking my HRV like it's my company's burn rate. And there's way more.
Is that satire?
Well, this is the question, right?
Yeah, is that real?
So after he goes through this list, he kind of comes back to it, and he says, "Do you need all of this? No. Honestly, my wife says I don't need all of this." So there's some self-awareness. But then it's followed up with this. "But I've learned that if you want to be a high-performance founder, you need to treat your body, your mind, and your time like the assets they are. A lot of entrepreneurs chase the big milestones, the funding rounds, the follower accounts, the flashy stuff. But the biggest returns I've had have come from marginal gains. The 1% better sleep, the 1% better focus, the 1% better health. That 1% compounds in your life and your business." So this is the question, right? So we're looking at posts like this, and I have so many examples of different founders, which we can post on the Instagram, kind of talking in this way. And there is an element of self-awareness where people go, "I know my morning routine's crazy," or like, "Oh, I know that this is like a bit wild that I do all of this." But then there's always that return to, why are they doing it? It's because they genuinely think it makes them better. And there is an element of bragging, the fact that they're posting it on LinkedIn. So... And these are the very people that are satirized in American Psycho. It's the yuppie culture. So what I'm interested to hear from you guys is, what does it mean when someone who's aware of something like American Psycho and aware of how this stuff sort of sounds, what does it mean that they're still posting like that? Are they in on the joke? Yeah. Is it post-satire? Can they be in on it?
I don't think it's a joke. I honestly think that we are living in a moment where self-optimization and productivity is treated as like the ultimate goal. Mm-hmm. And that kind of morning routine from Pat Bateman, where he runs through his skincare regime, famously, which gets, the sound bites of it all over TikTok. We are living in that. Like, people, myself kind of included, have like a kitchen or a bathroom cupboard full of supplements, creams, serums, and it's all about, anti-aging, collagen boosting, immunity boosting, muscle enhancing. Mm-hmm. Like, we are living in a moment where like we treat our bodies as if they are projects.
Yeah.
In the same way that these founders, they have their startup, that's their sort of like brain baby, but they do treat their people like James Watt, like, treat their bodies like a project as well. Yeah. And that requires investment, like investing money.
I like agree, but have a slightly different take as what I do. I think they're being satirical, but they're kind of missing the point, because it's like a discourse and a language we're all familiar with. People are really aware of that monologue and are aware that it makes you sound kind of crazy and that it's, but at the same time, having, a 10-step skin regime is in, having a Pilates trainer is in, having like a vitamin regime is in. But from my understanding of that book as well, what Bret Easton Ellis was trying to say was that this is an individual who's emblematic of a company. Like, the character of Patrick Bateman is supposed to represent corporate America. And so these LinkedIn posts from these founders, in a way, what they're trying to say is that their behavior and their being and their mindset is connected to their brand and their business. But then it's like, what maybe is being misunderstood there is that if you project that these are your individual traits, this is the attitudes you have, that maybe they want people to think, yes, we take our business seriously, we do this, we achieve every little detail, we yada, yada, yada. But it creates a culture that is kind of so self-obsessed and so concerned with branding that then there is actually no real separation between like autonomous personhood and corporate living. And like, we don't want to live in a world where we are all corporate robots, like, you know, trying to live like people who are the top 1%, who have these crazy routines and make crazy amounts of money, and are kind of projecting this lifestyle that is very unattainable for people like us to live or to sustain.
But I think that's a real thing that's happening at the moment, and you only have to look at and we've spoken about this before, but like pickup artists and like red pill videos where it's all about hustle culture. Here's how you can improve to get the women only want the top 10% of men, and this is everything that you need to do. And a lot of that is linked to that entrepreneur culture. But what's scary is that it's not just from bottom up, from people who are desperate, is that it's top down from the people who own these companies. And I think that's fucking scary.
There's a lot of really, that period of the 80s, there's so much interesting commentary about that, because it was like a particular period in Wall Street and with like Reaganomics, and where it was on the forefront of everyone's minds. I watched this movie yesterday called Magnolia. Have you seen it? It's a Paul Thomas Anderson film. And Tom Cruise plays like a pickup artist who gives these seminars to powerful, career-hungry and women-hungry men who are desperate for advice about how to pick up women. And his tagline is "Seduce and Destroy." And he like comes onto stage,
Bateman does,
posing, and it's such an interesting. That film is really fascinating, but his character is such an interesting parallel to Patrick Bateman as well. If anyone wants to like dig further down into that period of time and like commentaries around those figures.
Interesting. Yeah. Can I just go back to something interesting that you said before, Em, about not being able to separate the person from the brand? You must have this in music as well.
It's something that actually I really struggle with, because it's worth me explaining on the podcast, because I don't know if I have before, that I make music as part of my day job. I have an artist project and I'm actively pushing that. And it's something that I really struggled with when I was first introduced to the industry, because I didn't really grow up around the music industry or know much about it. And the implicit suggestion straight away, because of the timing in which I joined the industry and the overlap with streaming and TikTok and being online and self-branding, the implicit suggestion from labels, from everyone really, was that it would be most beneficial to me to be online as much as possible and to be... I remember being in a meeting once with some social media specialists, and they were like, yeah, your face needs to be up as much as possible. And it got so much to the point where I didn't feel like what they understood that they were saying to me is your face and your body sells. And I just felt like it had got so far down the line that it had become so normalized that as part of music, you have to self-brand and you have to become a brand that people can buy into and buy things from and look at and understand what you are, that I felt like that had become so normal to them that they didn't even understand that there was anxiety for me as a young woman entering the industry with no prior experience. I'm not anti-advertising or marketing or branding, and I think that there's importance and, you know, a great amount of effect that can be made and can happen from people utilizing social media correctly, and, you know, from developing community with it and from amplifying streaming. And oh my god, yes, have I done it and sold my soul on occasion? Of course. But I just think the rhetoric is like so whack, and that we've got way too far down the line that, I don't know, it doesn't feel like we can come fully back from where we are with it. Yeah.
I mean, it's entirely a platform for selling. And yeah, especially on LinkedIn as well. And something that you said as well, Alice, which is you were like, yeah, well, like I have like a 10-step skincare routine, that's probably been bought in from like TikTok and like pressure on social media and trends that are going around and stuff. So I wonder if just everyone is kind of suffering with the consequences of representing a personal brand, whether you work in music or you're a founder at a corporate, and everyone's just succumbing to this pressure and buying, which is why I think we're kind of at this return to the 80s of what Ellis was talking about with American Psycho, of such like a hyper consumer culture. And absolutely everyone is affected, and it's not just these kind of like yuppie characters anymore.
And every job that seems to be, you know, we're all freelancers and we've all got half an eye on like the job market and what's going on in creative industries, and all the postings are for marketing. Maybe I'm naive, maybe it's been like that for a while, but it really feels like more than ever everyone's just competing for attention.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, the weird thing, speaking as someone who has like a couple of clients where I like help them run their social media as part of my job, is 2 years ago I was writing posts for company LinkedIn's, and now I'm writing posts for the founders. So this is what I mean by like the fabrics have just become so entwined, you just can't pull them apart anymore.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of my role is, and has been, writing posts on behalf of various founders that I've worked for.
Yeah, and it's just so weird because we're asked to do that because it makes the brand feel so much more authentic, because people feel like they know the founder and they understand it and they feel closer to the brand. But those posts are all being ghostwritten by other people. And again, like the posts aren't a true reflection of maybe what they've been up to. I've been really lucky in that the founders that I've worked with, it's very much a collaborative process and we're talking about what feels right to them and stuff like that. But I have other friends who work in the industry, and I know that they're just writing absolute guff with ChatGPT and then sending it out, and then it's ChatGPT bots responding to the posts. It's very weird.
Yeah, bots responding to bots is getting big on LinkedIn. I've noticed. It's like, and as well, I think maybe this is like coming back to an earlier point about whether these posts are satire or not.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting is posts like that. If you put that on Instagram, Reddit, Discord, I don't know, whatever other social media channel, you would get fucking roasted in the comments.
Hopping off that idea and coming, when we're talking about do they know it's satire, and coming back to that intro monologue, did you see that maybe 2 years ago, I think it was Vogue, maybe Australian Vogue, Margot Robbie did a video, which was her sort of parody of the 12-step routine, and it was it was a parody of the opening scenes of the film as well, of American Psycho. You know, I wake up in the morning, I do my whatever. But to me, that was also like, whoa, they haven't got the point. She's, you know, like one of the most wealthy, you know, generally considered beautiful women in the world, probably has access to any kind of like cosmetic treatment, to like luxury goods, and her doing that routine as a joke. I was like, yeah, but that is our kind of modern version of what's going on there. Like she is this woman that has this insane access to money and healthcare, and I just felt like they were trying to be sort of fully and silly and poke fun of the fact that that this guy did this thing, and I'm like, yeah, but that's the world that you live in as well. I don't know if you understand the satire as well as you do, which is the whole thing. It's like, when does satire die? Because
can I let me point your attention to something that's perhaps even more sinister, which is, and we've said it 100 times, but I'll say it one more time. It's American Psycho satirizes the businessman. And then we've spoken about how people on LinkedIn have started kind of talking like Patrick Bateman. I did a bit of a deep dive on LinkedIn, and there is a lot of people working in very senior positions who have actively referenced Patrick Bateman in their LinkedIn posts.
Yes, I've been seeing these.
Some of it is a little bit more playful, where it's marketing stuff and it's talking about, you know, the famous card scene. What is this? Oh, it's ivory, or they call this bone. And they're like pushing the cards in front. I kind of get that. That's probably someone like myself who's spending hours on Canva and trying to think of a new angle. But then there's some stuff like this. Patrick Bateman, the infamous character from American Psycho, might seem like an odd reference for project managers, but there are surprising parallels. Unlike Bateman, PMs must learn to adapt and prioritise progress over perfection. And this is what I mean. And then there's actually loads of these posts. There's this one, someone who works at a very eminent VC, and I won't mention them by name, said, "What would happen if Patrick Bateman would join Silicon Valley? We're going through the roof at insert VC here and have signed more than 7 clients since inception with more in the pipeline." And then it goes all the way through, and then you get to the last line of the post. The answer to that question, he wouldn't have gone insane because he'd have AI helping him be more productive, hence less overtime work. So it's just really quite haunting.
Do they forget that he killed a bunch of women? Like the main thing with Pat Bateman is he like kills
Rapes.
Horribly, like really. Because I read the book for my dis, and like there are scenes in it that are like
a necrophiliac at the end, right?
Let me just point you towards the last one of these posts, again by someone who's very, very senior. Not to alarm anyone, but we need a financial analyst who's obsessed with his precision as Patrick Bateman is with business cards, but keep it professional, please. That's just what the post looks like.
Oh my God.
But like, do the men, especially because it's often men posting.
It's a mixture. It's a mixture of men and women.
Yeah, but especially when men are posting it, I'm like, guys, like, do you not like know that he's like a misogynist?
It links to Swift as well, you know, like sometimes when the satire goes so far that how much can people retain of the original meaning?
Yeah, so there's this, there's a term which is called auto-cannibalism, which is basically when like someone eats parts of their own body. And I feel like that can, I don't even know if this is the right term, can be put onto the wider sort of cultural landscape where a text satirises someone and then it becomes, 40 years down the line, and those people are now using those posts in a way that's not even necessarily self-referential. They're just playing into the stereotype. And then culture is just kind of eating itself, and we can't tell where satire starts, where it ends. And I think as well with like ChatGPT, that's just harvesting everything that's gone before rather than it being like an age of newness. And I think with stuff like this, it's like, can you still do satire in this day and age when everything's so ridiculous and everything's recycled and everything references something else?
Yeah, we're like so self-referential that we've lost the self we're referring to. Like it's just they're like a black hole.
Yeah.
It's because we've sort of lost context as well in a way, because you hear things so frequently out of their original context. It's like I think about it a lot in music because TikTok's really interesting for audio. You often will hear a clip of something or something will trend, and the trending audio might not even come from the original video where the audio was attached to it. It might not even come from someone satirizing that video. It could come from someone reacting to the satirizing of that video, or someone making a meme and then putting the audio that they've seen to the reaction of the whatever. So there's this crazy like chain of influence that occurs, which then results in something trending, and then people might be like singing a song or quoting a clip from a film, and this is I'm by no means like being some kind of Philistine where it's like, you need to know where everything comes from and you need to whatever, but it does get to the point where it seems sometimes crazy to me that people could be singing people could be singing a Phil Collins song. I'm using that example because of American Psycho. People could be singing a Phil Collins song and think that it's a Harry Styles song. Or people could be quoting from Jane Austen and they think that like Alex Consani said it. Before that, you would usually have to physically pick up content or work, you'd pick up a magazine, you'd pick up a record, and the physicality of things has so much more context in because you've got dates, and I think it's the same with work as well. And now we've got to this place where everything is like a very tangled web, and it's like, where do we go from there? Are we just sit in that web forever? Does the web get more tangled? How do we like clear and clean from it?
I think that's such an articulate point. I think everything's become very piecemeal, and you're right, people are just taking out little parts, because I think there's like a scary amount of Patrick Bateman edits on TikTok, for example. But if people only see 3 scenes from the film where he has his headphones in and it's put to like punchy music and it just makes him look like a totally obsessive businessman, because people haven't read the full book and, like you said, have the context that comes with that physicality, what happens is they then go, Patrick Bateman, like he's an alpha male, but then you're losing the whole point of the book, which is that it's a satire. But if you're only ever getting part of the story, how do you know when that story's making fun of you?
Yeah. How do you know when the story's making fun of you?
Yeah.
You know?
That's a good point.
Thanks,
Really
guys.
good point.
Yeah. I'm earning my paycheck today. But then I'm like, you know, what does it mean that we've all come to the podcast and we've all dressed up as Patrick Bateman? Like, should we just let people have fun? We all wanted to put a tie on. Em's got a tie on her microphone.
Yeah. My microphone's got it.
You have 2 ties on.
I have 2 ties
Can we address the what we're labeling as tyranny?
We got a tie knitted into my sweater vest.
But even the knitting in of the tie to your sweater vest is irony.
Yeah,
it's
well,
like,
this is ironic.
Yeah.
Obviously, and then this is...
It's like saying, you know, I'm pretending to be a serious business girl.
Yeah,
which is so funny.
love wearing this in my work calls.
It's so good.
So that people know exactly how seriously I take my job.
Yeah, but then it's like...
not very...
But you are going and still wearing that to work and, like, earning a paycheck and stuff. So it's just like, I think we're just living in completely like post-irony, post-satirical world where like everything references something else and no one can take anything seriously.
Yeah, and I think that it's very much like it seems like quite a generational thing as well. I think that like, and I know that we are at some point, I think with you, going to talk about like Dadaism or like nonsense.
Yeah.
Poetry, and I think that's like these 2 things kind of overlap quite a lot because it is a sort of like generational disconnect with reality, because like Em was saying, the way that we get context now is so piecemeal. Like people aren't picking up American Psycho and reading it cover to cover. They're seeing clips of it on TikTok or references to it on LinkedIn, and we just we don't know. We don't know what we don't know, and knowing things is kind of uncool. Like, we've got to be nonchalant.
Yeah. Well, it's just like people want to know more and reference more. So people's web is expanding on a very surface level, but no one's going into the depth of anything. Like, people will use ChatGPT to summarize articles and books and films so that they can make reference to it, but again, just never getting kind of below the surface, and that's how you end up in situations like these founders who are think they're being self-referential but are doing a bit of a cell phone, unfortunately. So I don't know. Any final thoughts? This has been quite a bleak episode.
Yeah, sorry, we went too giggly today, guys. It's the blazer. It made me serious.
Yeah, I know. It's the double tie effect. I'm feeling extra serious today.
There's literally like rhinestones falling out of
I know. I think my issue with LinkedIn and with the sort of Pat Bateman persona, and I think what Brett Easton Ellis is sort of pointing at, is like the level of seriousness that we ascribe to things like KPIs, OKRs, numbers, shareholder value. And like, obviously, you know, Pat Bateman's character, he takes his work very seriously. He takes his business cards very seriously. These founders on LinkedIn, they take their work very seriously, as they should. It's a passion for a lot of them. They're doing like, ones I've worked for, it's been, you know, impact work, making the world a better place.
Yeah.
When it's like corporate kind of VC world and they're taking their work so seriously as though it is life or death, you know, and Pat Bateman takes it so seriously that he goes insane and kills a bunch of women.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just not that, it's not that deep. For me, the stuff I see on LinkedIn is so like disconnected from my personal values.
Yeah.
Like, which is friends and creativity and love, not to sound really trite. But I'm like, how can you love, like, numbers and money? It's, like, really lame.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like my take on it is, like, it's really important to care about your work and be passionate about it, and what you work is a hugely important part of who you are and what you do with your time. And I think it's great if you resonate with that. But yeah, just remember to take a step back, do the necessary reading, and figure out who you are outside of it as well.
I think it's so important and well said. I think you are not what you work as. That's not.
I mean, this is also from an amazing manager that I have. Shout out to Mike if you're listening. He won't be. But like you work to live. You don't live to work. You know, and I think that's kind of also a very important thing. Like, you are not your profession. Like, especially, I feel like I'm being a lot less nuanced than you, Sophie. I feel like what you've ended on there, that should definitely be the final note of the episode. But like, I just think they're fucking losers.
Oh my god,
I do.
Kiss your job goodbye, Alice.
Well, not the people I work for, because we're like trying to end climate change. Like, that's fair enough. I mean, people who work in like finance and they're like shagging themselves on LinkedIn. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I also post on LinkedIn. I feel like after this
I like
episode,
your posts.
Yeah, but the amount of times that I will bump into someone I haven't seen from university in a very long time, and they'll be like, "Hey, you come up all the time on my LinkedIn feed," and I was like, "That's bad, because that's how I get my freelance clients in." So it's always like pretty embarrassing posts.
It's
but
fine.
Good. I think they come across as more pathetic than Patrick Bateman-esque.
But that's good.
Yeah.
And also you're funny. Like, actually funny.
Stop.
And like I would 100% tell you if I thought I was worried that you were falling down some kind of like LinkedIn black hole, and you were about to become red pilled or something. I'd be like, hey man, you okay?
Yeah.
But your LinkedIn posts are good.
Yeah.
My final note is just watch out for Justine Norman.
Yeah.
She's
Justine
coming.
Norman's
If you get a
coming.
connection
She's
request.
coming for you.
She's coming for you, and she's going to post her morning routine in excruciting detail.
It'd be really funny. What if I start some kind of like parody LinkedIn account?
You should start trolling people.
That would take a lot of time and effort. But if
You don't have to.
If someone wants to do that on my behalf, please go for it.
Ghost, right?
I'll give you my login details.
Jokes. Thanks so much for a very cathartic, if not uplifting at all, episode this week. And we'll come and speak to you soon with the next episode. TLDR, log off LinkedIn for a while.
Yeah, touch some grass.
Take a break, get outside.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, guys.